There's a big difference between choosing to slow down and being forced to slow down. I've recently discovered that being injured when you live on a homestead can be a very frustrating experience. This video will be a mixture of how I've been spending my forced downtime on garden design and planning, and a testament to the power of a family pulling together to tackle the giant garden to-do list. I injured my hand on the last film job. Suddenly, I found myself at home and unable to use my right hand. After a week of boredom and ice packs, the hand was finally feeling well enough to do a bit of exercise. But I immediately strained my back because of how much my left side had been compensating for that right hand. And that put me back on the couch for another week or so. Tell me you're over 30 without telling me you're over 30, am I right? With reasonable use of my right hand returned, but not a lot of back mobility, I've had a lot of time to think, plan, and write lists. I've been so grateful for these raised garden beds these past weeks, since it means that even with my bad back, I can still harvest produce as long as I'm careful. But this injury has also made me realise that I need to incorporate a better system to feed the soil. Redesigning our compost system has always been on my list, but this has really drilled home the fact that I will not always be as physically able as I have been accustomed to being. I need to be continuously feeding the soil throughout the year, rather than having to import a huge amount of compost and mulch twice a year. It becomes a giant job in autumn and spring, and if I'm out of commission like I am now, then we have a problem. Harvesting is definitely my favourite part of gardening, discovering the treasures it has in store. But it doesn't matter how many times I do it, I tend to forget my basket. It's becoming a running theme. I think I can do it without needing it, and then I end up having to go get it because there's so much to collect. Look how I used my right hand to open the door! Making progress. Very exciting. Right hand healing well, back not so much. It's amazing the variety of sizes and shapes of produce we get, and they all taste delicious still. Finally getting some capsicums, which is really exciting. I find it wonderful and calming to forage around in the garden and discover what gems there are in store. Then the challenge is figuring out how to combine it all to make dinner. Unfortunately, even this little bit of harvesting and filming myself harvesting put me back in the couch for another couple of days. Unfortunately, gardening is all about timing. The seasons wait for no man or woman's hand and back to heal. It's early autumn here and very much time to get all the winter crops in the ground. My to-do list is very long. I'm just kidding, it's all in my head. I'm just kidding. The seed house is my to-do list. Look at all these things I have to plant. Also, the garlic bulbs were getting really desperate to be planted. The bulbs had all sprouted and they were also going moldy, so it was really time to get them in the ground. So I had to call in some help. Introducing Jacob and Mum, my garden helpers. Brace for a lot of time-lapse footage. So the first thing that had to happen was these moldy zucchinis had to go, and I couldn't bend over, so I called in Mum. Here she is loosening the soil and getting rid of the old dead zucchinis, and there's a bit of tansy in there which we kind of want to get rid of. She also got in and dug up this potato bed. Thank goodness. It's been sitting there for quite a while. The tops of them had completely died off and it was a journey of discovery to find them, but we got quite a few. Then it was Jacob's turn. He picked up a load of mushroom compost and distributed it around the garden. Now, we do buy this compost from a local mushroom farm. It's a byproduct of their mushroom growing operation. They're no longer growing mushrooms, although we do get some bonus ones out of it sometimes, which is quite good. You can see here he's actually spreading the mushroom compost on top of some cardboard and paper that I'd laid out. This is called sheet mulching, and it was very weedy in there and no one wanted to weed it. I wasn't able to. So this is a really good way of suppressing the weed growth and still feeding the soil, because the cardboard and paper will break down over time and just add to feeding the soil, but will kill all the weeds that are underneath it, which is a really good method. So sheet mulching, look it up. Here he is continuing on. The amazing man does the whole thing at once. Unlike me, when I do this, I use a bag at a time and do sort of a little bit at a time, but each to their own. I do admire the way that he just gets in there and does it. It's amazing. Thank goodness for strong people with mobile backs. Then Mum came back to help with this bed at the back that had the zucchinis in it. We were now planting all the garlic in here. Now usually I'd spread it out, but at this point it just needed to all go in the ground. So we've got a couple of broccolis in the middle as well because they're good companions for each other. You can see I had to eat breakfast instead of helping because the desire to help was too real. On Jacob's next trip past town, he picked up some hay bales, which we are using to mulch. So these IBCs, as soon as we added compost to them, they started evaporating massively. So it was really important to get the mulch on top of them ASAP and then water it down so it doesn't all fly away. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. The fact that these IBC wicking beds are so high up has meant I have been able to actually help with this process, and it's been amazing. And I also managed to mulch this garden bed with the garlic in it. Again, it's better than being on the ground. I was able to do it just with my back mobility. And now they're all tucked in for winter. While it has been very demoralizing not being able to garden or move in the way that I am used to doing, it has made me incredibly grateful for the small community that I have around me here. We live intergenerationally on this property. My parents and my partner and I share the same property, though we have separate dwellings, and I am incredibly grateful to all of them. Permaculture has a large emphasis on the power of community and the resilience that comes with having a community around you, and this has just been made really clear to me with me not being able to do anything and them being able to step in and help to get all the stuff in the ground that we need to feed our small community. Even though our little family is small, I certainly couldn't be doing any of this without them. While this was not the video I planned to make for you all this fortnight, that's what's been going on here. It has certainly been an interesting couple of weeks. Still trying to get things done while not being very able to do many things has been challenging, both physically and mentally. Life happens and you've got to deal with it, and it's certainly given me a lot to think about in terms of upgrading my vegetable garden design. I'm definitely working on more and better ways of in-ground composting so that this biannual compost mulch extravaganza doesn't have to happen. So thank you so much to my little community, my family, for chipping in when I wasn't able to. Oh, can't hug me like that, it hurts my back. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. There'll be some more structured content coming. I've had a lot of time to sit down, so there might be a video on wicking beds coming at some point in the future. Thanks for watching, bye! There's Mum with a scroll of paper. I'm doing an outro, it's the hardest bit.
It's going to require a little bit of...
Oh my god, that's really loud.
Alright, hang on.
Oh.